So this quote, fear is always searching for safety. Faith is always searching for freedom. I heard this, gosh, probably a month ago now from my sister. She told me that one of her friends had said it to her and it meant so much to her that she wrote it down. And I would say the same thing. Ever since my sister mentioned this quote to me, I cannot get it out of my mind. It has really summed up so much about what I feel around my life and how I address my life. And that when I can break it down into a simple statement like this, it helps me, because so oftentimes when we are trying to figure out how to keep ourselves in a place of joy and happiness and a place of strength ultimately, so that we can carry on through the tough times. And we know that there are tough times, right? We know that. And that the more we can make of these times, these glimmers of happiness, where, I just recently heard somebody speak about glimmers are the opposite of triggers, right? That they hold you in this place of just like saturated joy. So if you're taking in a sunset, that you are actually feeling this in all the cells of your body, and how beautiful that experience is, and how you store that in your memory. I call that your spiritual savings account. And that when we start to have enough of those deposits in our spiritual savings account, how we become more buoyant, more resistant. We have more ability to meet these difficult times and ultimately enjoy a higher level of living, a higher frequency of life. And that's what I'm aiming for. So this whole thought of fear searches for safety and faith searches for freedom is something I have brought into my life and referenced a lot when I am reacting to something. I am noticing myself in this place of searching for safety. As somebody that has recovered from trauma and PTSD and the events of abandonment, I am very aware of how I have searched for safety throughout my life. I'm very aware how when I go out into crowds, I look for the helpers. I look for people that feel safe to me. And being somebody that really energetically ties into my life at a higher level, I almost have adopted, not almost, I definitely have adopted through my lifetime this hypervigilance that feels very fearful. I've broken through so much of it, through my practices and all that I've learned. It never was going to be enough for me, that fearful place, that searching for safety, because I knew how much smaller my life was getting every time I subscribed to those fearful responses and closed down, became smaller, became invisible. And that's not how I wanted to live. There's just no way. I didn't want to live like that. So sort of inch by inch, turtle step by turtle step throughout my life, I have moved towards that faith-filled place. But of course, in any spiritual path, we always find our lessons, right? Find our challenges. And my challenges are, what invokes fear in you, Sarah? And can you recognize what that fear is when that fear arrives? And what do you do with it? So what I do with it now, with this beautiful phrase, fear searches for safety, faith searches for freedom, is that I move closer to faith. And what does that look like? For me, it looks like trust. It looks like flow. It looks like not having to control every part of my life, like with this incredible micromanagement, that I can actually just lean into my life, that I can actually hold things more lightly and gently rather than gripping them and trying to manipulate them. This is amazing. This is an amazing thing for me. So each time I take one of these little turtle steps where I catch myself, right? It's like, oh, there you are. There you are. I see what you want to do here. Now I don't accept that kind of limiting belief or behavior. Now I'm onto it. I'm aware of it. So because of that consciousness, because of that awakening, because of that awareness, I have the chance to make the decision. Do I always make the decision to go to faith? Not always. Not always. But when I don't, I still know that I haven't, right? And I'm gentle with myself. I ask myself why. I'm curious about why I've gone to fear rather than faith. And I'm not shaming myself or making myself feel badly for it. I'm just curious. I'm curious why. And what can I do for my life that would give me a little more buoyancy? How can I take a withdrawal from that spiritual savings account and offer it to myself so possibly the next time that similar lesson comes up, I'm able to drop into a place of faith rather than fear and take that in and feel how extraordinarily generous and lovely it is to my life. Enough that I want to do it again the next time.